Hello and welcome to Policy Bazaar. I'm Arjun Bhagat. Now, the 2015-16 budget of the government has been a mixed bag. Now, by announcing a host of measures, including the introduction of Universal Social Security Scheme, Atal Pension Yojana, launch of infrastructure bonds and sovereign gold bonds, and encouraging innovation of its flagship initiatives such as Make in India and Innovate in India, setting up of AIMS and IIMs, and incentivizing card transactions, etc. The finance minister has reinforced his commitment towards building a better tomorrow. Clearly, the emphasis is on infrastructure development and on simplifying things for the salaried class and businesses alike. And while the budget 2015 didn't favor any particular section, it didn't completely disappoint any either. The FM launched new schemes and introduced several deductions, mostly in the interest of the salaried class. Today, we are going to talk about the impact of the budget on the people at large. We have Yashish Dahiya with us, CEO and co-founder of PolicyBazaar, with us to help us understand what the budget has in store for our viewers in terms of personal finance investments. Welcome to the show, Yashish.
Hi.
It seems a step forward as far as the government is concerned. It seems to be a more comprehensive budget this time. How would you read it, and how would you rate it on a scale of 10?
I think I would rate it pretty high. Without going to specifics, like I could say 7 or 8. But the point is, I think it's a clear budget with a clear direction into the future. The way I read it, the future is going to have a lot of simplification. Social security will be a part of the country, so we will have social security, and it seems like employees will be given a lot of flexibility in terms of how they want to invest or utilize their funds. At the same time, the government will do innovative schemes to make sure the liquidity in the market stays. So the specific things that the government did in this particular budget were, first of all, the health insurance. They increased the limit in the health insurance.
So those are specifics as far as our viewers are concerned.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. So the health insurance, every individual can now take health insurance up to 25,000 rupees, and you'll get a tax break up to 25,000 rupees. The senior citizens, there's a lot of things that were done for that group. From 20,000 rupees, it's gone to 30,000 rupees for the senior citizens in terms of health insurance. More importantly, if you're a very senior citizen, so above 80 years of age, you don't need to take an insurance policy. Just have expenses, because anyway it's finding it difficult to take an insurance policy. Just have expenses, and the expenses will be tax deducted.
So is that a new innovation?
That's absolutely a brand new one, where you don't have to have expenses. You don't have to have an insurance policy. You just have expenses, and you can get a tax break against those expenses.
Which wasn't applicable earlier.
Which wasn't applicable earlier. And more importantly, they also have brought out a critical illness product at a senior citizen level, where up to 80,000 rupees, one could basically get a tax rebate of 80,000 rupees in case a critical illness is detected. So one of the serious illnesses is detected. So these are the steps. They're not comprehensive because the government doesn't have the money to kind of do everything in a comprehensive manner, but these are some of the steps. A pension scheme has been brought out where the government invests up to 1,000 rupees on behalf of the individual, and the individual is thus encouraged to start investing in long-term pensions so that that pie is built up. We never really had universal what you would call personal accident kind of schemes. But now a universal personal accident scheme has been brought out where every individual in the country gets a cover of 1 lakh rupees for a price of 1 rupee per month.
But isn't that linked to the Jan Dhan
That is linked to the Jan
scheme?
Dhan. Yeah, you have to have the Jan Dhan account, and with the Jan Dhan account you would have the 1 lakh rupee personal accident at a cost of 1 rupee per month. Now that is quite low cost. There is in addition a life insurance product where you get a coverage of 2 lakh rupees for a cost of 330 rupees per year. Now, I just want to warn that private insurance companies, a lot of insurance companies are actually today offering products cheaper than that. So according to me, that is, yes, the government has done it from a consumer interest perspective, but there are better products available. So the consumer would actually be better off just going and buying the product himself rather than going via the government and buying that product. I think in addition, you've got the infrastructure bonds, you've got the gold monetization scheme, which not just bring out, gold is, while it's a big asset for the country and for the individuals and the families in the country, it is a massive, a sponge taking away liquidity from the system.
Precisely.
And also harms the country in a very massive way because of the imports that come in. Now, if somebody can solve that problem, so essentially put gold into some kind of reserves and start using them for re-lending into the banking system or into the system so that imports are not necessary. So the jewelers can use the same gold again and again. Then liquidity is brought into the system because the same people who have gold today can put that in, take cash, use that cash for something, and when they have the cash, get their gold back. The gold being brought into coins. So people have been, I've found a few people kind of being funny about it, that what difference does it make if you have an Ashok Chakra on the coin? Well, the moment you have the Ashok Chakra on the coin, it's essentially become money.
Right.
Because it's no longer jewelry. And jewelry has got costs every time you change it from one form to the other, but the coin is the coin. So, right. and that brings liquidity into the system. So lots of those, what I see as far-reaching, but not populist. I do not call this a populist budget, and I don't think the intention of the budget was to be populist, but it's not harmed anybody.
Right.
So that's where I see it.
Right. But there seems to be a little bit of disgruntlement as far as the middle class is concerned. So a lot of people are saying, the limits, ATC, haven't been increased. We haven't really got that extra, push to make our lives easier. So, I mean, how would you read it? Because there has been a transport allowance that has gone up, but that only affects the salaried class. So how would you really read that?
There has been some allowances that have gone up. The health insurance allowance has gone up. The transport allowance has gone up. There is a special scheme brought out. See, the biggest sector which has, according to me, hit that, like until now, largely been neglected by the last 60 years of our country. And according to me, in the future, that is the bulwark of our economy, is what you would call the SME, the small and medium enterprises, the small business people, all the way from the panwala, all the way.
And they are the largest employers.
They're the largest employers.
India is concerned.
And we always. See, I come from a farming family, so we've always loved this tax-free farming. But the point is, what about those people? Are they not working hard? We somehow classify them as businessmen.
Right.
Those poor guys are working quite hard. And we become salaried and they become the business. So nobody really thinks about them, who's sorting out their troubles. So for the first time, you've had concrete steps being taken and kind of trying to address that. You've had the mudra being created, which is principally aimed to provide credit to that group of people in a manner that they would not have had access to earlier. Now, how effective that becomes, I'm not saying it's going to become a success.
So it's the proof of the pudding is going to be in the eating, in the implementation of it.
See, it'll require effort. I'm not saying it's going to be successful right away, but the step has been taken in the right direction. The second step, which will not be successful, I can say right now it won't be successful, because I don't see the skill not being there, is for startups, like our own startup.
Precisely.
There's been a fund created to invest in them. Just the thought is great. I'm confident because I know the skills required in investing in businesses like ours. I don't think they exist in the government and should not exist in the government really. So the government has no business being there, but there's just a thought that
maybe
thinking,
through the banks. I don't know.
but they're just thinking about I don't think the banks also have those skills. So those skills are very, very precise. So I think if they gave money to the venture funds, but otherwise not really. So yes, if they invest, money will get wasted according to me. But the thought that somebody's at least thinking about these, fringe groups of society whom nobody's bothered about.
Right.
So when we used to start up a business, it used to be so difficult, just because of the number of approvals you have to take. The whole red tape. It's something that very large organizations can manage. Small startups. So I think the simplification that has come in for the individual is far-reaching. It is not a populist budget. We've had enough of them for a very long time. So I think this one was just very, very
bite
strict.
The bullet in a way.
And I think I come from a defense family. So I've got all those, agricultural family, defense family. So you can't really classify them into any particular bracket that has not benefited from the pensions, from the tax-free nature of things. I think we got to give that up. That's not how people make money. As a country, we have to realize we have to work hard to earn money.
Right.
And we have to work towards creating those opportunities where people can go out and, I know it's a philosophical debate, but
so you
we
think
have to get out of the habit.
The steps are in that direction to actually
totally
create that kind of a fertile ground where there will be innovation,
Absolutely.
Jobs will be created?
Bringing down the corporate tax, who are these corporates? The corporates are the ones who create investment. Today we've had a problem of not enough investment. Look at the difference between China and India. The biggest difference is the amount of investment that has gone into China and the amount of investment that's come into India. The investment that's come into India is marginal compared to what's gone into China. One of the reasons is this ease of business, the corporate tax rates, etc. I think easing that out will just get investment in, which will create more jobs, which will, in the end, the government might actually collect more taxes because the same people who are earning will be paying taxes, and the same people are paying on service. I do think the service tax going up is not favorable for the population, and that, but that's the biggest, some money has to come from somewhere.
Right.
And I don't think many people will notice it. Your service tax, how many people notice whether it is 12% or it's 11% or it's 14%? How many people actually notice it? But so I think that is the thing that has come into the budget, and that will get through. And that's going to be a big generator of money. But fundamentally, I think some steps which provide a direction of at least how the next 4-5 years are likely to be.
So I have this figure, and in fact, the Finance Minister Arun Jaitley also mentioned it. He said that 4,44,200 is the amount that becomes tax-free if you invest properly.
Yes.
So, give us a rundown of that.
How that gets created.
And also, you'd mentioned the revisions under ATC.
Yeah.
So let's go over that for our viewers.
So there have been revisions in ATC and ADD. So in ADCCD. So the first thing is you are allowed to invest in insurance products or pensions up to 1.5 lakh rupees. This used to be 1 lakh rupee earlier. Now it is 1.5 lakh rupees formalized from this year onwards. This actually happened last year. So this is not a this year change. The second thing that happens is you get an additional ability to invest in the NPS of 50,000 rupees. So that becomes your 2 lakh rupees in all. There is a 2 lakh rupee that you can get back if you are investing, if you got your own house or you're paying interest on that house. So there's a capital repayment and interest repayment. You can get up to 2 lakh rupees there. So that's basically what the 4 lakh rupees comes from. And you have the 25,000 rupees of health insurance benefit that comes in. And there's a little bit of this transport allowance, or the TA as you call it, which has gone from 800 rupees to 1,600 rupees. So overall, that's what puts together your tax breaks.
Right. So tell us about the Universal Social Security Scheme that the Finance Minister has talked about, and is that going to be a game changer in terms of how we look at investing for our retirement? Because majority of the country, you can take out the government servants, you can take out some of the corporates and other companies. Majority of the people don't have a social security system at all in our country.
Yeah, I think it's a start in that direction. So my belief is it's a start in the direction of universal pension, universal health. It is impossible for a government within 1 year to promise that to all its citizens. But if one gets the direction of it, over the next 5 years, 10 years, if the direction was to stay the same, we are essentially headed in that direction. And the starting point was, okay, let's start a pension scheme where the government starts investing 1,000 rupees for every individual, for the people who are investing. If you're not investing, the government is not investing. But the government is investing when you're investing. Similarly, the whole Jan Dhan scheme, which has the components of tax relief, I expect the government very soon to come out with universal health coverage. It'll be limited in terms of, it'll be linked to Jan Dhan, it'll be linked to some pieces. There will be some cost to it, but it'll be very minimal. And the reason you're putting some cost to it, I don't think the consumers understand this, but have a look at how many claims are ever paid out of all the government health insurance schemes running in the country today. It is almost negligible. So the claims ratio is going to be less than 10%. So what that means is, of the premium paid by the government to the insurance companies, not even 10% of that is actually getting paid out as claims to the consumer. And you know why that happens? Because the consumer doesn't even know what he has. And the consumer doesn't know what he has because he never paid for it.
Right.
He never paid even 1 rupee for it. The government just
So
just
there's
paid
a
for
little bit of a personal stake in that once you
There's
start
a little bit
paying.
of a personal stake. It may be 1 rupee. It may be 1 rupee. But the point is, the moment that 1 rupee has been spent, there is a reason why it's been spent. And somebody knows why they are spending it and what are the benefits they can get out of it.
Right. So, it's time for a short break. But we'll continue our discussion right after this. You can tweet us at Twitter at PolicyBazaar_in or email us at queries@policybazaar.com. And we'll see you shortly after this short break. Keep watching.